Michael.
Hey, so I'm gonna go over the China trip and what it's done for me. Also, I'm gonna start this off by saying this China trip. When I first heard about it, I was very reluctant to go to it. I was like, I don't want to go to China. I don't source from China, and I was convinced to come here. Best decision I ever made. It was at first I was like, I'm not going. So I finally. I came here and I saw the entire physical products universe. I found products that I've been trying to source for a year and a half, trying to get formulas made for them in the skin and beauty care industry, right? And I found these formulas and I found the products here and found great manufacturers for them at really low costs. So I'm immediately sourcing 14 different SKUs. Altogether about 22 in the long term, in 6 months. From the masterminds, I've immediately made a huge increase in my income by the day. It's incredible how fast it started acting from all the data and knowledge I've gotten. This was definitely the best investment I've ever done. It has a huge payout. I would have paid double, triple if I'd have known this is what I was going to get out of it. So I am extremely happy with the result so far, and I'm very excited for the next 6 months, year. I decided I'm definitely coming to every single mastermind, everything that's going to happen in the future. This is my game.
I love it. So what was the one part of the mastermind that you got the most out of, and which mentor helped you the most?
You know, the thing that I love the most, all the mentors were amazing. They're so intelligent, so smart. The one that, you know, it really hit home for me because I really found this out for myself. This one piece of, you know, technology in regards to Amazon a few months ago, and I started testing it on a very small scale. And I basically learned from Pablo that this tactic I was using was the way to get to $1 million a month. And I was implementing it to a very small degree, and I realized that this is how you do it. It hit me so hard, like a ton of bricks, that I've been losing about $300,000 to $400,000 a month by not doing what he said to do, by not doing this tactic. So for me, I mean, that tip that he gave on PPC, on AMS, was the most life-changing thing I've ever. I was just like out of my body.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what was your favorite phase of Canton, and can you take us through what it's like a day at the fair?
Absolutely. My favorite phase was phase 2. That was my category. I currently am very interested in expanding my current brands, and phase 2 offered a lot of manufacturers for different packaging, boxes, material. I'm currently improving my products, manufacturing new products, finding things that have never been even heard of in the US. So this is all new stuff to the industry, and this is ideas that I've had for the last 2 years. So an idea of walking through this fair and seeing all these different products, I mean, it was basically like, okay, I want that one, 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 and it got overwhelming because this is just like all I usually see is dollar signs, right? And I'm just going nuts. So of course, I mean, I got all the manufacturer's information. I collected it, talked about MOQs and the pricing, etc., which is great. And of course, I'm gonna move forward. But the biggest thing for me is going through this fair, walking through all these different aisles, seeing all these different products was mind-blowing, and it actually helps you understand what business you're in, what you're doing with it, and you can sort of see the overall picture of how these guys in the make their money in the physical products industry. So that was the biggest thing for me in walking through this fair is it helps you understand the physical products business and how you make money in it, which is the biggest factor for me.
I love it. So what would you tell people who are on the fence about coming to the next China Magic trip? I don't know if it's worth the 12 days. I don't know if it's worth the 3, 5, 10 grand. I mean, what would you tell those people who are on the fence?
Anybody that's on the fence about going to one of these things, about coming to China, about going to these masterminds, just do it. I mean, the ROI on coming to these things is huge. Even if, like, for instance, there was one tip that I got about this, refund service for Amazon. it is an immediate $57,000 that I got from the money I spent. That's one tip out of the hundreds, right? And then all these things I wrote down, they implemented right away. There's an immediate, probably millions a year I'm gonna make from this trip. So anybody that's on the fence about going to any mastermind, any trip, anytime, any place, anywhere, you have to do it. It's the best investment you can make. I don't even care if you have to borrow, beg, or steal to come to these things. You got to do it.
I love it. So last thing, how is what Athena put together special and different from, say, an amazing seller conference in Vegas? Like, what did Athena do to make this thing really special?
I think the biggest factor was Athena is so caring, and she really understands that people in general, she really understands that people need a certain care factor in order to get what they really need out of these kind of events. And you don't find that with a company or organization. A lot of the times it's about the numbers for a company, for an organization, for a bigger group putting these things together. A lot of the times it's just about, people are sort of dollar signs or just numbers for them. Athena is just really caring about every single person that's here, and she makes sure that we all have the best result possible for our company. So the care factor with Athena is unprecedented. So that's why I would particularly prefer Athena's events. She makes sure, she just really knows how the event can go the best way it can go. So any event that Athena's ever going to throw again, I'm there in a heartbeat.
I love it. So just really quick, take us through like a day, like a mastermind. Last question. What is a mastermind like? How does it start? What is a mastermind?
So a mastermind is essentially a bunch of sellers coming together and sharing what they've done, their tips, their strategies, what software they're using, how they got their big numbers, what they've realized, etc. Right? A lot of these masterminds will give a lot of tips to bigger sellers and to smaller sellers alike. So a good mastermind typically will be big sellers talking to other big sellers. That's the best kind of mastermind. Even the small seller will get the most out of that. So a typical mastermind, you'll have some good mentors. They're doing high numbers, and they're giving all their secrets. I mean, it's not even really secrets. It's just things that they've encountered, that they've learned from their failures and from their successes. So that's what a mastermind is. A bunch of us together to share all of our strategies, and especially if you implement that and you combine that tech into one seller account and one business, you're killing it.
I love it. So what are your future goals? What are you going to do in the next 2 years because of the tips you've gotten on this trip?
I can already tell you that what's happened so far on this trip has increased my sales. Just in implementing a few days, I've increased my sales by 25% in a couple of days. So, and I was already doing pretty high numbers. So my future sales, in terms of the future goals, I haven't implemented 20% of what I've gotten out of this yet. Not even 10% actually. I've only implemented like 2 or 3 things out of the 100. 6 months, I project myself going into, the stratosphere. My company is going to take off into new realms. My Amazon account, I learned tips about off Amazon, and so I know that off Amazon sales are going to take off and skyrocket. So I can't even sleep right now because I'm so excited. Like the butterflies in my stomach of potential sales, of money, new clients, new customers, is amazing.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Michael.
Yeah.